At this time, we're back. Taylor Bostock is here. We've known each other a long time. How long think we've known each other?
I think over 10 years. I met you at the KIP Foundation
Yeah,
about 10 years ago when you were taking a look at my job.
that's true. People who come on this podcast, we're talking about recruitment and talent and finding jobs, helping other people find
Yeah.
jobs. So your job right now is executive recruiter. What does that mean?
Yes, I'm technically called a principal,
Even
but
better.
an executive recruiter, it means I work at a search firm and I'm responsible for finding and managing C-level searches across the country. I do superintendent searches, I do principal searches, and I even do things like sourcing for folks who are kind of at the last minute need it. And, I get to work with great people across the country who are doing this work. I specifically work with charters in Title One. Like I'm obsessed with that and try not to do anything beyond that. That's really my purpose.
I feel like there's some mystery around search firms.
Yeah.
What do you think people get right about them, or like how would you explain it to somebody who's kind of confused about when I would even engage with a search firm or what it does?
Yeah. Oh, that's a good question. So I'm always happy to talk to people. So that, like I have a Calendly, people can always sign up and chat. I think for what do people get right? Like the way that look, it's a better process. It's a way better process than I was running alone. We have
Hmm.
really strong operations and really good connections nationally. It also garners a great deal of like awesome candidates, right? Because Agility has that name. And so the candidates I've seen this year in particular have been phenomenal. And then things I didn't know about were like, I don't know, commission, the draw, different like lingo and stuff. And I'm honestly still learning their systems and I've been there since July.
So is there a kind of recruiter you feel like ultimately does better in a setting where they are part of a shop, part of a
Yeah.
search firm? And is there a version of a recruiter who can only do well on their own?
Do you watch The Office?
Of course, yeah.
I call myself like the Todd Packer of agility, where it's like he's an outside cat,
Right.
Don't let him come in, and that's kind of how I felt at first. Like I haven't been in a workplace in 5 years because I was running my own business. Like, how am I going to fit in here? And I have to tell you, I had to mute myself on lots of team meetings. Initially I was like too excited about what was going on internally, and that was tricky. I think people who want to do the process their own way, who feel really strongly like just let me do what I do, let me do my thing, you shouldn't be at a search firm.
Hmm.
People who are like, I know how great recruitment works and I want to help find great people. And I love the systems that Hadley Kornacki, who's our VP of operations, has set up, would do great. I'm in there. And I'm kind of a hybrid, I think, of the two, but I've found my way and love it. Yeah.
But as someone who's recruited for a long time, then you end up at a search firm with really strong operations. Like, what of those components really stood out to you that you appreciate?
Oh, yeah. It was like everything that I couldn't have in my own business, right?
Or like
So
what?
everything from like workable, like a great ATS,
Hmm.
to Monday to keep all of our projects organized. So, Panda Docs, where I'm writing we're writing our contracts. There's so many. Hold on, I have more. Ramp, we work with. Calendly, like all of these things have just made my job a lot easier, and that's really Hadley behind the scenes, like smoothing it out.
Yeah.
So it makes this like I can start and finish searches on time because of that, right? Like without that kind of operational planning, there's no way I could run these searches in like 3-4 months. But now, we're even able to get ahead of schedule because of how strong the operations are. And it's amazing how that works.
So if someone knows a recruiter at a search firm, so let's say somebody casually knows you or is connected with you on LinkedIn, is it in their interest to stay connected with you even when they're not looking? Like, how do you even kind of keep your own network, because it has to be national, always at the ready to potentially
Yeah.
jump into something?
So I'm not great at sales, but I'm working on it. It's just like not my, when I talk about sales, like me going out and getting deals, I'm a little hesitant around it. But, oh God, what was your question again?
Well, I was curious, like, do you like always try to, well, let me put it this way, like from a candidate perspective, does it make sense for them to know at least one recruiter at a search firm in case they need
Absolutely.
it later, like a break the emergency glass kind of vibe?
Yes, because what you want is somebody to contact you when they see a job. You
Hmm.
want someone to say, you're a high school superintendent interest. I'm doing something in Dallas. Are you interested? I can easily go out to a group of like 10 people who would be interested in that role. And that's in part because Agility has 40,000 people in its database, which is incredible. So I can source from there. I can source from LinkedIn. And yeah, like honestly, you should always be prepared to have a new job or like for something to happen, especially in this climate. Like I don't know what's going to happen. And so, if folks ever want to take a call with me, I usually do like a 15-minute quick career call, happy to chat. And yeah, would just encourage people to like always look at jobs. What's going on out and around you.
So, as someone that's looked at the job market for years and years as your actual job, how are you even getting your mind around what's happening now? Like, how do you explain it to others? How do you explain it to yourself?
I think that, look, 2020 was really tough. Like 2020, 2021, 2022, that was when there was a teacher exodus. And that was really challenging. I was staffing some teachers and principals at the time, but there was so much burnout that it was very hard to find people who were qualified for the roles. So what you saw was a lot of people left, and then people who were more junior moved up, but they didn't have a ton of training. So, one thing I work with clients on is like, how much coaching are you going to need to provide this person? In terms of like the now landscape, I'm staffing a school called Vega Collegiate Academy. It's a building excellence schools organization, and it's in Denver. And they are like, there's red cards at the front door of the school. Like, people, they have language ready to go. Like, they assume that there could be a raid. Like, and how the people there handle it says a lot about who they are. So when I'm pitching that job to somebody, I'm going to tell them up front, look, you have to care about immigrants. You have to care about this community in order to do really well here. Like, that matters to us first and foremost. So I'm almost interviewing for it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Do you have a lot of friends that ask you for job advice, knowing
No,
what you do?
I don't have a lot of friends.
What? You have
I'm
plenty
only
of
kidding.
friends.
No, most of my friends are in education. They're really settled. Like, I've helped my mom's boyfriend with jobs, but yeah, or I talked to someone today. Her name's Molly, Kip St. Louis, and she brought me her resume and she showed me all the jobs that she hasn't gotten, and she's just super downtrodden.
Hmm.
Part of my job is like give you a pep talk, look at your resume, tell you like 5 things you should do differently, and then go back out there. But it's got to be on the person, like poor Molly, but she's got to say to herself, like, I'm wiping the slate clean. Like, the story about myself is no longer I don't get jobs. Like, I'm going to now go out and get a great
Good
job.
job.
I think sometimes people shut themselves down without meaning to. Yeah. And then, like, anytime someone's looking for a job in education, I get a phone call a lot.
Yeah. You've interviewed probably 10,000, 20,000 people, and
Oh my God, 20,000. I
we're
don't
trying to
know.
figure this out. Like, I wish I
Yeah,
had kept a counter the whole time. I would love
I've
to know my
probably
actual number.
I've probably staffed like, I don't know, 150 plus school leader positions over the
Yeah.
past 13 years. Yeah.
So when people ask you for interview advice, what are the one or two things that you tell them to do or not do these days?
Okay. So, do you watch Million Dollar Listing, New York?
I've seen a few every now and then. Okay.
Frederick, the gentleman on it, he has this great book about sales, and he talks about like, you just have to be fully yourself. Like, that's what they're going to get. Come as you are and let that shine. And I know that sounds hokey, but it really, like, bring your full self to the table. Because guess what? If you don't, 5 months later, some things will pop up and you're going to be like, this isn't a good match for me.
You can't hide it. Yeah.
Yeah, no. And the second thing is, like, if you're even thinking about going to look, do not apply cold online. Do not do that.
Hmm.
I highly recommend networking, right? I take like 15-minute coffee conversations with people. I would strongly recommend that people like look into their own network, like even through your LinkedIn network, right? And
Yeah.
say, who are the top, I don't know, 40, 50 people. I just advise someone to talk to 50 people
Hmm.
that I could go and get my name out there and send a follow-up email that's like, here's a paragraph about me and here's my resume. Help connect me. And then
Hmm.
following up if they don't get back to you. You got to work your
What do you make of the AI arms race right now on both sides? I feel like the candidates have so much more at their disposal, but then recruiters have so many things at their disposal too that can
yeah.
scrub and look for resumes. What's your take on how that arms race is
From
going?
a candidate standpoint, it's awful, right? Like, I
Awful.
can
Why?
tell. Yeah. I mean, I get why people want to use it, but it's very obvious. I'll say that, right? So someone applied for a role this year and you could tell she had taken everything from ChatGPT down to like the little stars and the emoji,
Yep.
all the things that they include. And I just said to her, look, like, I'm not going to move you forward, not only because, you don't have the qualifications for this job, but I'm very concerned that you used AI to like write all this. Now, using AI, we use it all the time. I use it to write questions. I use it to write,
Make rubrics, all the things. Yeah.
resumes. Yes. And like, use it, but don't make it so damn obvious.
Hmm.
Like, cover your tracks. And I guess if that makes sense. And, I've seen that a few times and I'm like, but
Yeah.
I get why people should use it. I get why they do use it. It's just, don't make it obvious that you did.
Yeah. Have you seen any ATS systems or any other recruitment related things like on our side of the house of AI that's been useful to you? Either like sourcing or scrubbing resumes to see keywords, anything like that? I haven't either. We do a little bit of sourcing. I have some ones that I feel like are a little bit stronger than LinkedIn Recruiter, which has been
Yeah.
fun.
We
But I,
use something like a people finder. I forget what it's called.
yeah,
But we use something that like scrapes the internet for people's names. And our company, Christina Greenberg, who our CEO and founder, she was like way out in front of the AI stuff. A
Hmm.
few years ago, she's like, LinkedIn's gonna die. We have to start looking and finding people other places. And so that's how they've built this incredible 40,000 person database.
Yeah.
Um,
I always tell my team the AI is in your eyeballs. That's where it is. Just looking like it's in there. Like use your eyeballs in your brain. Like I don't need the AI machine all the time. Some of
oh
the
yeah,
time,
no.
like my AI is in there. I look at it and I can figure it out just
Going
as
back
well.
to my point about the sales guy, Frederick, like bring your full self, be yourself.
Yeah.
That's what's going to land or not land the job. Yeah.
Last thing, how do folks find you, reach out to you, do these 15-minute Zoom coffees with you?
Yeah. So if anybody would like to work with me, I don't work on the candidate side, but I will take a 15-minute call with you. Please come to the table with your resume, send it to me in advance, and come. You should drive the agenda. I learned that from Maya Hike Merlin of Together Teacher. The person who's coming onto the call should drive the agenda and say like, here's what I'm coming in for. Is it career advice? Is it help me with my resume? Is it connect me to 5 people that you know? Is it get my resume to the top of somebody's inbox? Like all of those pieces. If they come to the table with that, great. I can be super helpful. Without that, it's kind of just like me doing like faux therapy, which I'm not great at. So I have in my Calendly and I think in my LinkedIn a link that people can use to sign up. I beg you don't sign up till May because right now is so hectic. I'll be on the road like this entire month. But then, for clients, people who are looking for a search firm or looking for someone to run executive search, principal search, sourcing, even like directors, things like that, reach out to me directly. Bostock at agilityconsulting.com.
Love it. We'll put all that info into the description for the episode. Thanks so much, Taylor, for coming on. Thanks everyone for listening. You can catch us in stunning 4K on YouTube and all the places you get your podcasts. Until next time, we'll catch you soon.